Narayanam namaskritya naram chaiva narottamam devim saraswatim vyasam tato jayam udirayet nashta prayeshva bhadreshu nityam bhagavat sevaya bhagavati uttama shloke bhaktir bhavati naisthiki krishnaya vasudevaya devaki nandanaya cha nanda gopa kumaraya ya namo namah. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji and Mata. We welcome you to the Saturday evening Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam study. So last week we discussed what was the name of the chapter? Chapter number 12. That's right, Prabhuji. Yes. What was the name of the chapter? Yes. Yes. Birth of Emperor Parikshit, or birth of Parikshit Maharaj. Yes. So we discussed a very important point. Maybe let me ask you a couple of things. There were two names that Brahmanas predicted for Parikshit Maharaj. What were those two names? Anybody on the Zoom, if you would want to answer, you can type in the chat window. Vishnu Rath. Yeah. Rath means restore. Because initially Sud Goswami telling Shaunakadi Rishi that Uttaraya Hato Garbha Ishe Nanu, the Lord, the Supreme Personality, Ishe Nanu Jivita. So Parikshit Maharaj died, but Lord Vishnu restored him. That's why he is called Vishnu Rath. And then the second name was called Parikshit, because he will be looking at everyone, and the vision that he had in the womb of his mother, he will be looking for that person everywhere. He will be Parikshit, as in examining. Pariksha means examination. So he'll be examining everyone, whether I saw him, or the person that I saw, where is he? Yeah, so he will be looking at. So the point was, the question that was asked by Yudhishthira Maharaj, and I would like to bring it to your attention. So the question that Yudhishthira Maharaj asked, okay, just stepping back. So Parikshit Maharaj, Sud Goswami is telling Shaunakadi Rishi that Parikshit Maharaj, Daivena Pratighatena, by the arrangement of providence, he was destined to death. But Rato vo anugrahaya Vishnuna Prabhu Vishnuna Tasmat Namna Vishnu Rat iti loke bhavishyati na sandeho mahabhaga mahabhagavato. So this is what Brahmanas told. When he was born, then the Brahmanas, they spoke about Parikshit Maharaj. They said Vishnu Rato iti loke bhavishyati. Yeah. His name will be called Vishnu Rat in this universe, right? Because he was restored by the Supreme Personality, by the Lord Vishnu himself. And that Lord Vishnu, Vishnuna Prabhu Vishnu. who is all pervading, who is all powerful. He was restored, right? But then Yudhishthira Maharaj asked a question. Api esha vanshan Raj Rishi Punya Shlokan Mahatmana Anuvartita Yashasa Svid Yashasa Sadhu Vaden Sattava. So his query was that whether this son, whether this grandson of ours, Vanshan, whether he will be able to take forward the Vansh Parampara, the dynasty. Punya Shlokan, all the kings who have been in this dynasty, will he be able to take that forward? Anuvartita, will he be able to follow in the footsteps of those kings? Will he able to take forward the glories of this Vansh? That was his question, right? And then we went through all the various qualities that they highlighted. They said he will be like Ikshvaku Maharaj when it comes to taking care of the people who are living in his kingdom. He'll be like Lord Ram when it comes to honoring his words, when it comes to taking care of the Brahmanas. He will be like Bali Maharaj when it comes to being the most patient person. Right? He'll be like Prahlad Maharaj, as in who was the devotee of Krishna. So they highlighted all those things. But then suddenly, while they were concluding, then they made one statement. Takshakad atmano mrityum. Dvija putrena upasarjitat. Takshakad atmano mrityum. Dvija putrena upasarjitat. Dvij putra, as in the Brahmana putra, right? What was the name of that Brahman? Shamik Rishi's son, Shringi Rishi. Shringi, he was also very exalted. So Shringi Rishi cursed. After highlighting all the qualities, he asked whether he will take forward our glories. Now suddenly they say, Takshakad atmano mrityum dvija putrena upasarjita. So that Takshak snake will come and bite. And after he is hearing about his death, upashrutya, after hearing about that, what will he do? Mukta Sangha Padam Hari. He will detach himself. He will detach himself from all the attachment and he will take shelter at the lotus feet of Lord Hari. Mukta Sangha Padam Hari. And then Jignasitatma. And then he will put forward the queries. Jignasita Atma Yarthaya Munir Vyas Sutta Sutad Asav. Now they are pointing at Asav as in this boy. So Brahman are saying, this boy, see, the meeting is about to happen. Now look at it, how potent the scriptures are. He is just born and he's saying that he will hear about his death. And this child, this son, Munir Vyas Sutad Asav. Munir Vyas' son, who is Shukdev Goswami. So he will put forward the queries in front of the Vyas Muni's son, whose name is Shukdev Goswami. Yeah? And what will be the queries? Atman. Jignasita Atma Yarthaya. What is the purpose? What is the purpose? And he will put forward those queries. And then he says, Hitedam Gangaya, Nrpa Gangaya. He will then leave everything. He will be a great king, but then he will leave everything and then he will go to Gangaya. Yasyasti Adha Akutobhya. Very important. He will become fearless. So once again, I request you to focus on this point. After hearing about his death by the bite of snake bird called Takshak, what he will do? He will leave everything. He will leave everything and he will take shelter at the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord Hari. And then he will go to Ganges, on the bank of Ganges, and he will put forward the queries, the questions of Atma, his life, the purpose, right? And completely detached. And last word is Akuto Bhaya. He will become fearless. You know how we are fearful all the time? Some disease might come, somebody might cheat us, somebody might do something with us, but he will become completely fearless. And he will go and sit there. And then they mention his second name. Yeah. And then they say that Sa Esh Loke Vikhyata Parikshit iti Yat Prabhu. He will be known by the name of Parikshit in this lok. Why? Purvam Drishta Anudhyanam. What he saw in the past, Anudhyanam, he will think about that again and again. And then when he will think about that, then Parikshid Nareshwatiha. Then he will examine every living entity, every human being, whether he is that. And then what happened? Now Yudhishthira Maharaj did not ask any question. That is the point I want you to focus on. Now he did not ask any question. Until now he asked all the questions. But after hearing about the death, no more questions. Prabhuji, please come forward. Children, come forward. Arjun, Keshav, yes, you come forward. Jay, wherever you are, comfortable, huh? Yeah, very nice, very nice. Where is Yashvi? Yashvi here? Okay, everyone. Please listen carefully, children. Yeah, very important. So here, now Yudhishthira Maharaj did not ask any question. Isn't it intriguing? He asked all the questions. Now he's being told he will be dead. But they conclude by saying what he will do. He will take Mukta Sangha Padam Hare. He will completely detach and take shelter at the lotus feet of Lord Hari. Then why to worry? So Yudhishthira Maharaj did not worry at all. And then what he will do? He will go and speak to Munir Vyas' son, Shukdev Goswami. He will make perfect questions. Right? He will make queries about the existence. Again, Yudhishthira Maharaj is not perturbed at all. And then that his name will be Parikshit, because in everyone he will be examining that Lord Vishnu. Isn't that a great thing? That you are always looking for Supreme Personality of God. So then there is no need to ask any further questions. You understand? No more questions. Right? And then we conclude that chapter. Then Yudhishthira Maharaj, he performed 3 Ashwamedh Yagnas, and Lord Krishna, he went back to Dwarka in chapter 11. But once again it is said that Lord Krishna was always looking for opportunity to go and get association of Pandavas. It's opposite. Krishna is looking for opportunity to come and spend time with his dear Pandavas. Krishna came again. I told you all the queens in Dwarka, they will say, you might as well marry Arjun. You are spending so much time in Hastinapur. What is the point? So Lord Krishna came back, and then Lord Krishna guided Yudhishthira Maharaj in performing those 3 Ashwamedh Yagnas. And then after that, Lord Krishna went back to Dwarka, and this time he took Arjun with him. See, so much love. Arjun's other name was also Krishna. Do you know, by the way? Some people will call Arjun also Krishna. And Draupadi was called Krishna, because she was Krishna's sister. So this is how close the Lord was. But point is, Prabhuji Mataji, birth and death. So birth of Emperor Parikshit is asking the forecast. Now you think, you ask about your children's future, and the priest tells you he will be dying. A snake will come and bite him. What will you do? You will put fence all around your house. You will make sure no snake get to enter in my house, right? We will be making all the endeavors to protect them. But Akutobhe, he became fearless, because he will take shelter at the feet of Lord. That's what we want. We want you all to take shelter at the lotus feet of Lord Hari and then become fearless, right? Because death is for sure, isn't it? Sometimes they say this is as sure as death, right? Sometimes people make the statements, this is as sure as death. So death can't be over. But the point is how you live your life. Right? Srila Prabhupada gives 2 examples. Shripad Adi Shankaracharya, he only lived 32 years. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu only 48 years. But there are trees who live for 5,000 years, thousands of years. What is the point? They are called Jada. Right? People who are not interested in Krishna's pastimes, they are called Jad Buddhi, Mood Mate. That's what Shripad Shankaracharya says. Bhaj Govindam, Govindam bhaj moodam. Punarapi jananam, punarapi maranam, punarapi janani jathare shay. Ye sansare bahu dustare, kripaya apare pahi murare, bhaj Govindam, Govindam. Yeah. So that is the point, Prabhuji Mataji. So I wanted to remember that, birth of Emperor Parikshit, he's future telling, but he's being told, his grandparents are being told that he will die. Yeah. And then Yudhishthira Maharaj, not a single question asked, because he understood that he will be a devotee of Lord Hari. Then that's it. Why do I need to ask any more questions? So now today's chapter, which is Dhṛtarāṣṭra leaves home. Yeah. This is actually also the beginning, or this is setting the circumstances for Parikshit Maharaj to become the king. Yeah. Because Dhṛtarāṣṭra leaves home, then Pandavas will retire, and then Parikshit Maharaj will become the king. And then at later stage, then Parikshit Maharaj, when he committed that small mistake, right? And then he will be cursed. As we discussed, he was cursed by Shringi Rishi, who is son of Shamik Rishi. Right? And then the meeting between Shukdev Goswami and Parikshit Maharaj will happen, and that's where Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam recitation will begin. Right? So that let's do Mangala Charan and then we'll discuss. Yeah? Let's take the blessing of Guru Parampara. Om Ajnana Timirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurue Namah. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padkamlam Shri Gurum Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Savadhetam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vitamscha. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Shri Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Shri Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarobhyascha Kripa Sindhu Bhaevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Bhuter mahadhir yayma puro vibho nirmaya shete yadamosha purusha bhungte gunansho dashatmakam solanka srishta bhagavan vachamsi me Shri Krishna Sharanam Sharanaagatam Tha Amritam Satatapipatam Bhakti Vedanta Margapanthanam Sarvaloka Rishi Deva Janma Prasannam. Sarvaloka Rishi Deva Janma Prasannam. So we do Mangala Charan, and then this shlok that we recite or I recite after that. This is basically praying to the Supreme Lord that may that Lord please sit on my tongue. Solanka Shrestha Bhagavan Vachamsi. May that Lord please speak, right? Because this is nothing us we talk. So this is the Supreme Lord guiding us, and then we just speak what He wants us to speak. So that is the prayer we are offering, that my dear Lord, you please speak through my tongue so that we can take shelter of Shri Krishna Sharanam Sharanagati. So that we can take shelter of Lord Shri Krishna, we can get onto his lotus feet. And then towards the end, we're saying Bhakti Vedanta Marga Pantha. So there we are glorifying Srila Prabhupada. Bhakti Vedanta, Abhay Charan Bhakti Vedanta. So Bhakti Vedanta Marga Pantha. He showed us the path to Bhakti, right? Bhakti Vedanta Marga Panthanam Sarva Lok Rishi Deva Janma Prasanna. Yeah, which makes everyone happy. Right? So we're glorifying Srila Prabhupada, we are praying to the Supreme Lord, yeah. And you are all part of that. Yeah. Thank you very much. So now Sut Goswami starts speaking to Shaunakadi Rishi. Now after the birth of Parikshit Maharaj, now he starts talking about Dhṛtarāṣṭra leaves. So what had happened was, Prabhuji Mataji, Vidurji, Vidurji is brother of Dhṛtarāṣṭra and Pandu. By the way, they're all son of Vyasadeva. Even though people don't like Dhṛtarāṣṭra, but he's son of Vyasadeva, like it or not. And Shukdev Goswami is also son of Vyasadeva. Something to think about. Sometimes people make comparison between brothers, between siblings, but they're all son of Srila Vyasadeva. Srila Vyasadeva, who is literally incarnation of Supreme Personality of God. All of them are son of Vyasadeva. So Vidurji, who is born from a Dasiputra, maid servant. Vidurji decided when the war was about to begin and Lord Krishna had come as a Shanti, messenger of peace, to Hastinapur, and then Supreme Lord, as he came with the proposal to give 5 villages to the Pandavas, Duryodhana refused that. And Duryodhana offered Lord Shri Krishna to be his guest. He wanted to be the host. That is why that famous bhajan, Duryodhana ko meva tyago sag vidudar. The Lord Krishna did not accept the invitation of Duryodhana, even though Duryodhana had arranged such an opulent feast. So Lord Krishna refused. Now in the next day assembly, Lord Krishna, when he put forward that proposal that please give 5 villages to the Pandavas and they will live peacefully, Duryodhana did not like that, and Duryodhana ordered his army to arrest him. They said, arrest him. And then it is said that after Lord Krishna went, there was a conversation that Dhṛtarāṣṭra asked Vidur, and Vidurji would always speak truth. And Vidurji is an incarnation of, or Vidurji is Dharmaraj, Yamraj. Yeah, Yamraj. And Yamraj is son of Bhagavan Surya. Yam and Yami, they are twins. Who is Yami? Yamunaji. Yamunaji is Yamraj's sister. Yam and Yami. Yeah? Kalindi, we call Kalindi. Yeah. So now Vidurji, he was a Dasi Putra. Due to a curse, that will be a very long past time. We will have to shorten that, right? We will cover that in the following chapters, because 3rd canto, when we discuss, so Maitreya and Vidur Samvad is continuing, and Vidurji is asking question through that. We will cover this past time. But in this context, when Vidurji told Dhṛtarāṣṭra that you should accept this proposal, then it is said that the Duryodhana got very upset, and Duryodhana started speaking bad words to Vidurji, and he said, Dasi Putra, you are surviving, we are providing you food and shelter, but you are supporting our enemies and this and that, as he said. Then Vidurji took that as an opportunity. He took that as an opportunity to leave and go, right? And go on a pilgrimage. So Vidurji then, he put his bow and arrow on the doorstep and he left. Vidurji left for a pilgrimage. Now on his way back, Vidur Vidur is coming from, okay, if you're familiar with the map, he went to South India, right? He went to South India and then he was coming up from Maharashtra and then Gujarat. And in Gujarat, we have Prabhas Kshetra, a place is called Prabhas Kshetra. And near Prabhas Kshetra, river Saraswati is, just going there. So as Vidurji came to Prabhas Kshetra, as he got close to the river, on the bank of the river, he saw Uddhav. Uddhav, who is cousin of Lord Krishna. So he met Uddhav there. And Uddhav was crying. Because Lord Krishna had just left for his abode. And then Uddhav and Vidurji spoke. And then Uddhavji tells Vidurji that Lord Krishna specifically mentioned your name. And we will discuss that in the third canto. Lord Krishna specifically mentioned Vidur's name. And he told Uddhav that you pass this message to Vidur. And as Vidur heard that, he started crying. He said, Lord Krishna remembered me. He remembered my name before he went to his abode. And then he asked Uddhav that, Uddhav, please tell me. Please tell me what was discussed between you and Lord Krishna. Because Lord Krishna spoke to Uddhavji at length, right? He gave him a lot of knowledge. And then he said, can you give me that knowledge? And then when Uddhavji was about to speak to Vidurji, Uddhavji told, no, you should go to Haridwar and you should seek shelter at the feet of Maitreya Rishi. Now, it so happened when Lord Krishna and Uddhavji were speaking, Maitreya also walked in there. Lord Krishna and Uddhav were talking, Maitreya by chance, he also reached there and he also became part of that conversation. So Maitreya personally got to hear. He got a personal audience with Lord Krishna. So he also heard that. But Uddhavji, out of humility, Uddhavji said no. Uddhavji realized that Vidurji's position is higher than him. And he said, rather than hearing from me, you should go and hear from Maitreya Rishi. Maitreya Rishi is a friend of Vyasadeva. It is all very, very nicely linked. Yeah? So he said, you should go to Haridwar because from there Maitreya Rishi left for Haridwar and instruction for Uddhavji was, Lord Krishna had told him that you go to Himalayas where Nar Narayan Rishi were there. So Uddhavji went to Badrinath and he performed austerity there. So Uddhavji, now see, Lord Krishna, I hope you can comprehend all of this. Lord Krishna, Maitreya and Uddhavji having conversation. Lord Krishna goes back to his abode. He leaves an instruction for Uddhav that Uddhav said, I also want to come. Lord Krishna told him, no, you stay here. You perform some austerity. Yeah, do some jap, do some tapasya, and then you will come back. Uddhavji, as an instruction in the heart of heart, he wanted to go, but he accepted that instruction. He stayed back, right? And then Maitreya ji, he went to Haridwar. Uddhavji was about to go to Badrinath. Then Vidurji walks there. Vidurji walks there, then Uddhav and Vidurji meets. Then Uddhav says, no, I can't tell you all of this. And Uddhavji then also shares his feelings with Vidurji. He says, I have been cheated. I feel like cheated by Lord Krishna. I did not realize and, I could not serve him better. He's just lamenting that how else I could have served him. So this is very important for you all also to understand. This is the opportunity for you to serve right now in the moment. You know how we say Tivrena Bhakti Yogena. You must have heard that word Tivra. Yeah, Tivrena Bhakti Yogena. Yeah, Yajante hi Purusha Param. Yeah. What is the first line? I forgot that. Arto Jignasu Artharthi. Yeah. Arto Jignasu Artharthi. Arto is in if you are in trouble. Jignasu is in if you have queries. Artharthi if you have any, if you are asking any favor. If you have any meaning, purpose, right? It is said that if no matter in whatever mood you serve Supreme Lord, right? But Tivrena Bhakti Yogena. Tivra is very important word. What is your understanding of Tivra? Let's say, if we go to talk. What do you think of Tivra? Intense. Very nice. Very nice. Anyone else? Well, intense is good. Intense is good. But it also means intense into the present. Remember that word. You be into the present moment. Where are you present moment? In the present moment, you are worshipping, you are listening to Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. Are you in the present moment? Intense means you are fully intensified, but you are listening to the Supreme Lord's pastime in the present moment. You are present there. That is the whole purpose. Otherwise, so many times, you know, Bahu janma kare yadi Sravan Kirtan Tabutana Pai Krishna Pade Prem. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is saying, Bahu janma kare yadi. Many lifetimes you have done bhajan and kirtan. But why haven't you got Krishna? So many times you have taken names of the Lord. Let's say, for example, if somebody's name is Ram, you have called him Ram, but have you thought of Lord Ram in that moment? So you are not in that moment. You understand the point, right? So that is Tivrena Bhakti Yogena. We are in that moment, in that present moment, no matter if I'm calling someone. But when I'm calling somebody's name as Krishna, but I'm thinking Krishna. You understand? Ajamil got survived because he had full intensity when he called Narayan. At that time, he had full faith in Narayan. You understand? He wasn't calling just Narayan next door. He had full faith in Narayan. He was so attached. When he saw Yamduts coming, he called Narayan with full intensity, even though he did not mean the Lord Narayan himself, but he called Narayan, and then the Vishnu Dutas came. So this is the Tibra. This is the intensity. Yeah, this is what it is. So that's what Uddhavji now, somebody of the, you know, his guru was breastfeeding. How exalted he was. He was lamenting that I could not serve that Supreme Lord when he was here in person. He was lamenting that I could not serve him so intensely. And he was crying, and then he left for Badrinath, Badrikashram, and then Vidurji then went to Ganges, Haridwar, and there he meet Maitreyaji. And then they have a long conversation, very long conversation, and Vidurji asks all sort of questions. Third canto, when we study third canto, you will hear all the questions and answers. Then you will understand what kind of queries we should be making. Yeah? So here now in this chapter, Sut Goswami starts Dhṛtarāṣṭra leaving the home. So he says, Vidurji, right? Vidur's Tirth Yatraya. Vidur, when he went to Tirth Yatra, then Maitreyad Atmanogati. Then he had a conversation with Maitreya Rishi, and he discussed with him Atmanogati, the journey of the soul, or the journey of the Jiva. He discussed with him. He discussed with him, and then she said, Vigna Tat Gyatva. After knowing that, yeah, what did he do? Hastinapuram. He came back to Hastinapur. And then it is said, he knew as much he wanted. As much he wanted to know, or as much that was knowable. After knowing that, then he came back. Now he coming back to Hastinapur. Right? And as he came back to Hastinapur, Sut Goswami says, what was the basis of his knowledge? He says, Jatek Bhaktir Govinde. Te Abhyascha Upararamha. He asked all the questions, but then he stopped asking Upararamha. He stopped asking the questions after he realized that Jatek Bhaktir Govinde, that the devotional service unto the Govinda is the ultimate aim. Then he stopped asking questions. Once one Prabhu came to Srila Prabhupada and he was asking, Swamiji, what do you think of Christianity? What do you think of Muslim? What do you think of Buddhism? What do you think of Krishna consciousness? And then Prabhupada said, wait. Prabhupada said, which one are you practicing? He said, no, I'm just asking. Prabhupada said, then you're wasting my time. Go. You understand? So the questions that you are asking, they have to have some relevance. Now Vidurji got to know that Govinda, Bhaktir Ek Govinde, that devotional service to Lord Govinda is the only end, is the ultimate. Lord Krishna himself says in Bhagavad Gita, what is that famous verse? Bahunam janmanam ante jnanavan mam prapadyate Vasudev sarvam iti sa mahatmasu sudurlabha. So that Mahatma, that great soul is Sudurlabh. Durlabh means very difficult. And Sudurlabh is greatly difficult. It is greatly difficult to find that. So the basis of their knowledge is what? Vasudev Sarvamiti. Lord Krishna is the everything. That's it. So all the knowledge, all the gyan, everything that you do, all the questionings, answering, etc. If it does not conclude that Krishna is everything, then you have wasted your time and you have also wasted other person's time. So to shorten that journey, Srila Prabhupada has given us a direct formula that only worship Krishna. There is no need to go and make any queries, any questions. He has given us this process. He has given us these books. So we should just follow the process, read his books, and that's it. Why do we want to go back and reinvent the wheel? Why would you want to find out what is Brahman, who is doing this, who is saying this, who is saying that, right? Sometimes we just go and, we're spending our time. Because every day, Prabhuji Mataji, ahani bhutani, yeah? Every day the living entities, gachanti iha yamalyam. Yeah? Yudhishthira Maharaj and Yaksh, when they asked me that question and answers. So every day, every moment, right at this moment, so many bodies, so many people have lost their lives. Their bodies are being taken to crematorium right at this moment while you are sitting and listening to a Harikatha. Then why do you want to waste your time? That is the point. That is the meaning of tivra, intense. At this right moment, you should challenge yourself every day. You should look at your deities. Challenge yourself when you wake up, when you sleep. Let's say my call comes in 1 minute. Will I be able to get the vision of my Lord? Test yourself. Before sleeping, let's say I won't wake up tomorrow. Just close your eyes and think of your deities. Whoever is your Ishtadev, Laddu Gopal, Radha Madhav, Radha Parthasarthi, whoever, Radha Govind, Jagannath, just get that vision. Otherwise, there is no, otherwise you will keep coming back to Vijayanath. We discussed Bhish Pitama. How did he left the body? Manovat Drishti Vritti Bhi. Man, in his mind, he had Lord Krishna. On his tongue, he was glorifying Krishna. Drishti, he had Lord Krishna standing in front of him. That's how he left his body. And when he left that body in that mode, he went to one of the Vaikuntha loks where the presiding deity is Parthasarthi Bhagavan. So test yourself. Very simple test. You don't need anybody to give you that certificate. But we can just every moment. If I'm going to meet an accident, right? What will happen? Will I be able to think of my Lord? So that's the whole point. You ask question and answer, and then this is the conclusion. If you know the conclusion, just focus. So Vidurji, he had all his questions answered, and now he comes back to Hastinapur. By the way, he is a sannyasi. If they are coming, sannyasi is coming, they come for a purpose, right? And it is said that as the Hastinapur Vasi, they saw Vidurji coming. So here Sud Goswami is saying is Prati uj jab muhu praharshen pranam tanva ivagat. Right? As they saw Vidurji, they prati jug muhu, they ran towards him. Right? Praharshena. They were so happy. It is like when you see your child, or when the child sees the parents, how he comes running to you. Right? With that mood, all the residents of Hastinapur, they ran towards him. Praharshena. And then Sudji says, Pranam Tanva Ivagat. As if the life has come to the boat. They were lifeless. Right? This is how you meet a Vaishnava. Very often we call Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dangut Pranam, Kaise ho, how are you? Right? We have all those. No, if you are serious, mean it. Intense. You be in that moment. That is the Tivra Bhakti. You know, even if you are saying to somebody else, but mind you, it is for your own benefit. It is for you. If you're saying Hare Krishna to someone with full heart, it is for your own benefit. Whether that person hears it or not, but Krishna is hearing that you called out his name. Yeah. So that's the Tivra moment. So like this, the resident of Hastinapur, they ran towards Vidurji. And then it is said that the elders, they touched they embraced him. Vidurji touched their feet. The younger ones, they touched his feet, right? The same age, or some people, he embraced them like since they met. And there were tears flowing down from the eyes. It is the tears of love. Out of love, they were so ecstatic to see Vidurji back. Yeah. Especially Yudhishthira Maharaj and Pandavas. They had a special affection because Vidurji also had a special affection for them. Yes. Now it says Yudhishthira Maharaj, then Yudhishthira Maharaj arranged nice seating arrangement for Vidurji. And then he says, Tam Bhuktavantam. Yeah. He offered him a nice feast. Nice prasadam was offered to, sumptuous prasadam was offered to Vidurji. Tam Bhuktavantam Vishrantam Asinam Sukhasane. Yeah. He was given a proper welcome. He was given a nice feast and he honored that feast. Then Vishrantam, then he had some rest. He had some rest and then he was sitting relaxed, right? On a nice asana, Sukhasane. Yeah. Asinam Sukhasane. So he was sitting on a nice, if somebody comes, this is how we greet. Somebody was telling me that back in India, he had some guests coming. And then somebody, from a distance, one of his uncle, he comes and he knocks at the door. And then uncle says, oh, how are you, my son? And he says, who are you? And then he says, oh, I'm your father's cousin. He said, oh, okay, please come. And then he offers them, a place. And then he straight away starts asking uncle, so uncle, how are you? What are your plans? How long you plan to stay here? And all those kind of questions he started asking. And this boy was a bachelor. He was planning his weekend. After 5 days work, he was planning to have a long weekend or something like that. And then the uncle came. Yeah. So, but it was all lip service, time waste, his time waste. No, that is why we say Atithi Devo Bhava. Yeah. So they greeted him with that. Yeah. And they offered him nice prasadam and all. And then Yudhishthira Maharaj started speaking to Vidurji. And Yudhishthira Maharaj now tells Vidurji that, my dear uncle, did you not remember us? Smarat, as in, did you not remember us? We were missing you a great. We are missing you so much. We remember how you saved us from Vipad Ganat. Vipad as in troubles, Ganat as in sequence of troubles. So many troubles came, my dear uncle, you saved us. And he mentions particularly 2 troubles, Vishan and Mahagni. Vishan is the poison, right? How Bhim was poisoned. Then Lakshagraha, once again, then when Pandavas came back, then Duryodhana said, I can't live with these Pandavas. Get them out of here. And they devised a plan to kill them. And they made a house of wax. And then they were sent there. As they were sent there, then Vidurji spoke in some language. To Yudhishthira Maharaj. At that time, it is said that Yudhishthira knew so many languages. And he spoke to me in a secret language. My Guru Maharaj says he spoke to me in English. He spoke to him in English, Yudhishthira Maharaj, Vidurji. And he gave him some hints that when there is a fire, the mouse who are living in the bill, what do we call in English? When they live under the earth, what do you call? Hole, mouse hole? What is it, Mati? Tunnel, yes, yeah, tunnel, yeah, good. Yeah. So he said when there is a fire, people who are in the tunnel, they don't get affected. So he gave those kind of hints and Pandavas were saved. So here Yudhishthira Maharaj recalls that like a bird covers the egg from his wings, you covered us like that. And not just us, including our mother also. This is how you looked after us, my dear uncle. Did you not miss us? We really missed you so much. And this Yudhishthira Maharaj was saying in front of everyone. He was saying in front of everyone. Now you might go back to when Kunti Maharani is offering the prayers to Lord Krishna. Kunti Maharani is giving credit to Lord Krishna for these 2, right? Kunti Maharani is saying that when we were in the trouble, my dear Lord, you saved us. Yeah? Vishan Mahagne Purushad Darshana. Yeah. Vishan, Vish, poison, Maha, the fire, right? And when those man-eaters, right, you saved us from that. But here Yudhishthira Maharaj is giving credit to Vidurji. This is nice way. Sometimes, you know, we get so puffed up. The reason I'm highlighting is sometimes if somebody is helping me, then rather than giving credit to him, I say, oh Krishna, I saved. So that shows our low level thinking. Yeah. But here Yudhishthira Maharaj is giving credit to Vidurji. He knew. Does Yudhishthira not know that it is Lord Krishna? But he is giving credit to Vidurji that you saved us, right? And like this, and then Yudhishthira Maharaj makes some inquiries from Vidurji. Then he asks him that, my dear uncle, which places did you go to? Yeah, Kaya Vrittya. Yeah, how did you take care of yourself? Yeah. Kaya Vrittya Vartitam. Vah Charadbhi Shiti Mandalam. When you were traveling on this earth, how did you take care of yourself? How did you survive? Right? How did you look after yourself? And then he says, Tirthani Kshetra Mukhyani. Yeah, Sevitani Iha Bhutale. So again, if somebody comes to our house, this is how the inquiries we make. Right? Sometimes we start, I mean, it's good friendly inquiries, you know, shopping, this and that, but they got straight to the point. I tell you, once Srila Prabhupada was lecturing in America, and he was there, and then there was one boy who stood up, and he started asking Prabhupada that, what is this that you are wearing? Who was wearing the neck bead, you know, this Tulsi Maharaj. And then Prabhupada asked him a counter question. What is this that you are wearing? He was wearing a necktie or something. And then he tells Prabhupada, what kind of answer is this to my question? Prabhupada said, what kind of question are you asking? A sadhu has come. You should be asking the purpose of life. You should be asking, why am I here? What should I be doing? How can I get out of this life of birth, death, old age, and disease? What kind of queries are you making? Right? So here Yudhishthira Maharaj is posing all those right questions. That, my dear uncle, which places did you go to? Which tirth, which places of pilgrimage did you go to? How did you look after yourself? Yeah. And then he goes on to say that Bhavad Vidha Bhagavatas Tirth Bhuta Swayam Tirthi Kurvanti Tirthani Swa Antasthen Gadapta. He says, my dear uncle, Bhagavata. Bhagavata is who are devotee of Bhagavan, who is devotee of Supreme Lord. The devotee of Supreme Lord, like yourself, they are Tirth Bhuta Swayam Vibhu. They are actually the place of pilgrimage personified. Why they are places of pilgrimage personified? Swanta Sthena Gadabrita. Because they are always carrying that Supreme Lord in their heart. What to speak? People like you, when you go to the place of pilgrimage, you actually make the place of pilgrimage a place of pilgrimage. Is called place of pilgrimage because of people like you. So Srila Prabhupada says the purport of the statement. Now Srila Prabhupada says that the purpose is, or the purport is, when we go to the religious places, we should look for a sadhu. We should make some inquiries so the person that we can meet and we can discuss, who can tell us about the pastimes. You know? I mean, unknowingly, I'm not saying, I myself, when we went to Vrindavan in my younger age, we did not know. We just went for a parikrama, Giriraj parikrama, and we came back. But now we realize we should go, we should find a sadhu there, we should serve him, and we should ask him so that he can tell us the glories of that place. Right? That is the move. Some people go to Jagannath Puri and what is in their plan? We're going to go and take a dip on the beach. People go to Vrindavan, we're going to go to Loi Bazaar. Right? We're going to go and do shopping in the Loi Bazaar. That's all good because that's also for Krishna. But sometimes we make these places as tourist places. That's the point I'm trying to make. Yeah. We should go there, right? You know, no matter whatever is the intention, because who are we to, you know, to impact the purity of any place? It is us who is going to come back. The place is pure. Ganges, Ganga will be Ganga. No matter how many sinners go and take a dip in Ganga, Ganga will always be Ganga. But it is you, it is about you, how you can go and purify yourself. Then you are wasting your time. Shrama evi kevalam. That's what Sutta Goswami says in the second chapter. Swadharmena anudishthata pumsam vishwaksena kathasuya na utpadayed yadi ratim shrama evi kevalam. If you say, I'm established in my dharma, I'm doing my duty so nicely, I'm taking care of my children, my family, my wife, etc. Everything is there. But then he says, if by doing that, you don't develop the desire or love to hear Krishna Katha, then it's just a labor. It's just a labor. It's like cats and dogs. They also take birth. Janme janme mata pita paya. Everyone has parents, everyone has children. Even a dog has children, cat has children. Everyone has children. They also have parents. But we are Manusha Janam Paya. That's what Narottam Das Thakur says. Yeah. Manusha Janam Paya Radha Krishna Napajiya Jani Sunye Vishakhaya. I've got this human birth. And still I haven't glorified, I haven't done bhajan of Krishna, Radha Krishna. Then knowingly I am eating the poison. Hari Hari Bifile Janam Bhuai. He's lamenting that, oh my dear Hari, my dear Lord, I have just wasted my life. Because knowingly I haven't glorified Krishna. Yeah. So here Yudhishthira Maharaj is making those queries from Vidurji that, my dear uncle, you went to those places, but you are a pilgrimage personified, people like yourself. So wherever you go, see, this is how he is welcome. Again, you have to be careful, right? Sometime, I tell you another example. There was this guru and chela. So one day chela, the disciple asked his guru, Guruji, aap kaun hai? My dear guru, who are you? And then guru tells his disciple, okay, what do you think of me? Who am I? And the disciple said, Aap to Sakshat Par Brahma. You are the Sakshat, you are the Brahma. And then Guru tells disciple, your assessment about me is 100% right. You can't be wrong. No, we are not in that business. Yeah, we are not in that business. Srila Prabhupada has given very clear process. We should just follow that process. Yeah. Guru, Sadhu, Shastra, Prabhupada. So there are three things if you are comparing, and Prabhupada himself said, study my books scrutinizingly. Don't study them blindfolded. Scrutinizingly study them, but don't just argue for the sake of arguing. So very important. So here, Yudhishthira Maharaj is glorifying. Then Yudhishthira Maharaj further asked him that, my dear uncle, you have gone to the place of pilgrimage. You must have gone to Dwarka also. Because Dwarka, even though at that time Lord Krishna was there, it was a place of pilgrimage. Dwarka was a place of pilgrimage, even there at that time also. So he said, you must have gone to Dwarka. So he asked him, Drishta Shruta va Yadava. Yeah. Swapuriyam Sukham Asate. You must have gone to Dwarkapuri and their Yadavs, right? Did you see them? Did you speak to them? Right? They call Krishna Devata. They consider Krishna their everything. How are they? You must have met with them. Are they keeping well? And then Vidurji, it is said that Vidurji, whatever he seen, some Varnayat, some is nicely Varnayat as he explained. Some Varnayat Yathan Bhutam Kramsha Vina Yadukunsha. So whatever Vidurji had experienced, he explained very nicely to Yudhishthira Maharaj, but without telling Yadu Kul Shem. Remember that. Because by that, Lord Krishna had already gone back to the Yadavas, they had already killed themselves. Yadu dynasty was destroyed. But Yudhishthira Maharaj, Vidurji did not mention anything about the you can say about the Yadav dynasty, how they killed each other, how they fought with each other. He did not say anything. So here, Prabhupada says that, or in the next verse, Sutta Goswami says that sometimes we don't discuss, we don't do a propaganda, because with the time, the calamities come, and the people will know about it. You get it? With the time, people will know about it. Now, in the last chapter, here is the connection. In the last chapter, what did I say? Arjun went with Lord Krishna. So Arjun is in Dwarka now. Arjun is not here. Arjun is in Dwarka now. Vidurji has come here. In the next chapter, we will find out. Now Arjun will come back. Now Yudhishthira Maharaj will start worrying. He says 7 months Arjun has been away from home. Where is he? Why hasn't he come back? He will start getting those bad omens. He will feel that. So Vidurji, he did not say anything about it because he came with a purpose. And what was his purpose? Dhṛtarāṣṭra quits home. Remember that. He came with a purpose. And then it is said that the Hastinapur, the resident of Hastinapur, they took care of him. Devavat Sukham. They treated him like a demigod. Vidurji. They treated him like a demigod. They provided all the opulences to him. But Vidurji, here, Sud Goswami warns Shaunaka Rishi and he tells them he only stayed there for a short time. And why did he come? He came there, Jeshth Bhratur Shreyas Krita. Because he came to do a big favor to his elder brother, Dhṛtarāṣṭra. That is the purpose of his visit. Even though they were offering him all the opulences. You know, there is a nice definition of sadhu or the qualities of a sadhu. Bhagwan Kapil Dev speaks to Mata Devhuti. What is that famous verse? 325:31, I think. 325. So he says, Titikshava Karunika Suhrada Sarvadehina Ajat Shatravah Shanta Sadhava Sadhu Bhushana. So these are the qualities. Bhagwan Kapil Dev telling his mother that you should get association of sadhus, and these are the qualities of the sadhus. I'll just focus on the first two qualities, Titikshava and Karunika. Titikshava means tolerant. Tolerant. And Karunika means he is compassionate to others. So my Guru Maharaj, he explains the word Titikshava. What is your understanding of Titikshava? He can tolerate. He can be tolerant to. Right. Sorry. His patience, yes. Anyone else? Just say anything. Tolerating dualities, yes. Yeah, he's tolerant, yes. Titikshava. Okay. In the interest of time, I'll just say. So my Guru Maharaj, he made a point about this, and this is what we learn from the sadhus. When he explained this, he said another quality of sadhu is, yes, he's tolerant to all those things which is unfavorable, but he is also tolerant to the favorable things. He was saying a sadhu, if he's coming to your place and you start offering nice prasadam, that doesn't mean he came for a day and he stays for a week. He's tolerant there also. He will stay only for a day and he will leave. You understand? Very important. Yeah, he's tolerant to all the bad things. We agree. But he's also tolerant to. He is aware. You know how people come and you start washing the feet, you start offering, and sometimes you just, you know, they get indulged into all those. You understand what I'm saying, right? Sometimes you start offering gifts, you start giving money, this and that. But my Guru Maharaj says no. Sadhu is tolerant there also. He's not only tolerant to somebody abusing him, somebody spitting at him, but he's also alert. Right? So that is also tolerance. Remember that. Yeah. So Vidurji was tolerant. That's why I mentioned it. Devavat Sukham. Yeah. So he was offered. Yeah. So he was offered the opulence. Devavat Sukham. He was offered like a demigod. But he stayed there for a very short time because he came there for a purpose. And his purpose was to do good to his elder brother Dhṛtarāṣṭra. Now it is said that after Vidurji came, he was there in Hastinapur, and then Yudhishthira Maharaj had become a king. He already had the kingdom. Parikshit Maharaj was growing slowly, and Yudhishthira Maharaj was enjoying looking at his grandson. Remember, think of a family environment, you know, and now he was confident that he will have a, you know, here He will have somebody who will be able to take care of their dynasty. So he almost had everything that he asked for, right? All the good qualities was there. He will be a great devotee, and like this. So like this, time was passing. So here Sud Goswami then makes a cautious statement to Shaunakadi Rishi. He says, Evam griheshu saktanam pramattanam tad ihya. Yeah. Evam griheshu saktanam. Now we get asakt. Now everything is set up. Sometimes we say, now house is set up. I've got a nice house. I've got nice children. I've got bank balance. I've got this. And slowly, right? And Yudhishthira Maharaj got involved into that. It is not more for Yudhishthira Maharaj, but it is for others. Yudhishthira Maharaj was never attached, right? In the 11th chapter we discussed Yudhishthira Maharaj's qualities. So here now Sudha Goswami says, Evam griheshu saktanam and pramattanam tad ihaya. You get asakt, you get attached, and then you become pramatta by thinking of that attachment. Understand? You get attached to all these facilities, and then you become mad, or your mind becomes absorbed just in those thoughts. It is like, self-consolation. In your mind, on one hand, you have these things. In your mind, you're telling, oh, I've got such a nice thing. In the mind, you are feeling happy about it. You have a good feeling about it. I've got nice bank balance. You know how the salary comes into the bank account, and then you check, oh, nice, money has come. Right? I tell you what, there was this one Prabhu who had migrated from UK. Real story. And he was living in Gosford. He was living in Gosford, and we happened to meet at some time. And we just started talking, and he asked me, where do you live? I said, I live here. I came from India, etc., etc. And I said, where do you live? He said, I live in Gosford. Oh, I just love this place. UK was so bad, and I did not adjust there at all. And Hare Krishna, Prabhu, please come. Please come. Yeah. And then he was praising, Prabhu, you come. Yeah. And he was praising and he said, I just love this place. And then one statement he made, he said, I bought a house near the beach in Gosford. And he says, every day I wake up, I got a nice window and view of beach. Every day I wake up and I go and see, is sea still there? See his level of happiness. He came from UK all the way to live here, and he bought a house near the beach, and his barometer of his happiness is every day morning he says, oh yeah, beach is there. Oh, nice. Sea is there. Sea hasn't gone anywhere. See? So that's what Sudha Goswami is saying. Evam griheshu saktana. Yeah, they go. But what happens is kala paramadustar. But in doing this, the kal, the insurmountable time passed. Yeah? The time kept passing like this. And then he says, but viduras tat abhipretya Dhṛtarāṣṭram bhāṣata. Yeah? Rajan nigrihitam, yeah? Nirgamyam shighram. Yeah? Pashyedam bhayam agatam. Then Vidurji he understood the flow of time. And then Vidurji goes to Dhṛtarāṣṭra and he addresses him Rajan. Even though he's not a king, he's being sarcastic here. He, out of sarcasm, he tells him, address him Rajan. Is he a king? No. He's lost his sons, he has lost everyone. And he said, Rajan, please, the time has come. See, this is how a true well-wisher is. Like Srila Prabhupada, you read that book. So many disciples, so many devotees in America. They say when Prabhupada came, we could not understand his accent. We could not understand what we were speaking. But somehow we had a feeling, we had a confidence that he's our well-wisher. That is why they accepted this. They got that feeling that he's our true well-wisher. So that's how Vidurji, as a well-wisher, he awoke him up. And then he starts telling Dhṛtarāṣṭra that, what are you doing here? He said, this body, he said, not just you, all of us. So this time is following all of us. Sa esha bhagwan kalah Sarvesham na samagata. He says that's time, that supreme time in the form of Bhagavan himself is chasing us. Sarvesham, all of these, na means me, like hum, including you and me, na. So he says all of us, that supreme time is following us, right? And there is no way we can even save ourselves. Pranahi priya taram apni. He says, out of all of these things, is the prana, the life that we love the most. What to speak? He says, after some time, we have to detach ourselves from that also, right? Even the prana, even the body. Then what to speak of anya dhana adivi? What to speak of all these opulences? One day, even our body also will be detached from that. Yeah, you know how it is said that dhanani bhumau pashvascha goste. Yeah, nari grahdwari sakha samsane. Yeah, dehas chitayam parlok marge dharma nugo gacchati jeev ek. Yeah. So he says that dhanani bhumau. In old days, they used to hide money underground. So he says that money will be kept there under the ground. Pashvascha goste. Old days, the animals used to be the wealth. He says those animals will be staying in the, what do you call in English? In the shed, in the barn, yes. So he says the animals will stay in the barn. The money will be kept hiding in the, like other day, last week we discussed this famous cricketer, he died. He didn't even get a minute to share his password, his bank account password. So Prabhujis and Matajis, you can share your password with each other. Right? So he didn't get any moment to share that, So this is how the time comes. Yeah. So that's what he's saying. Dhanani bhumo pashvascha goste nari grahdwari. The wife can only take you to the doorstep. Because in Vedic culture, the wife doesn't go to the crematorium. He says the wife will only be able to go to the doorstep. Sakha samshane, the so-called friends will just be able to take your body to the crematorium. That's all. And the body that we have loved, that we have decorated so much, it will only accompany you till the fire, till the crematorium. That's all. Right? Parlok marge, when you go into the other lok, dharmanugo, as per dharma, as per your religion, as per your karma, right? Gacchati jeev ekar. You will go alone. No one will accompany. Even the twins, even though they are born together, but do they go back together? No. Who knows it? So now Vidurji starts preaching to Dhṛtarāṣṭra. So he is telling Dhṛtarāṣṭra that param call, that time has come. And he tells him, and then he reminds him, he says, Pitri Bhratri Suhrata Putra. He says, your father, your brother, Pandu Maharaj. Yeah. Who was his father? Vichitravirya. Vichitravirya has died. Your brother Pandu Maharaj has died. All your sons have died. Right? Vigatam Vayam. Your body is dwindling. You're like, you are becoming old. Yeah? You're becoming invalid. What are you here for? What are you doing? It is said in Mahabharata, Vaishampayanji is telling Janmeja Maharaj, he says, even though Dhṛtarāṣṭra was living with Pandavas, Yudhishthira Maharaj will look after Dhṛtarāṣṭra like a father. Every day morning, Yudhishthira Maharaj will go and touch his feet, take his blessings, do his puja, and then he go back to the assembly. And then he will look after the kingdom. Every time Dhṛtarāṣṭra, he will make sure. Yudhishthira Maharaj, to the extent he had told his servants that if you don't look after Dhṛtarāṣṭra like my father, you are my greatest enemy. To that extent, Yudhishthira Maharaj was taking care of Dhṛtarāṣṭra. But it is said Bhim was very upset. Bhim was very upset. He says, Na tat virasya hirdaya upasarpita. That Veer, that Bhimsen, from his heart, Hridayad upasarpita. From his heart, those memories could not go. And what were those memories? Dhṛtarāṣṭrasya durbuddhaya. He says, because of Dhṛtarāṣṭra durbuddhi, his bad intelligence, Dyutam, that gambling match happened because of Dhṛtarāṣṭra's durbuddhi. Bhim could not forget that. And it is said that the Bhimsen, he would speak words, and like, sometimes you want someone to hear, but you won't say it on their face. Right? Sometimes, let's say, if I want to say something to this Prabhu, I'll say to him, oh, that Prabhu, oh, he's just like this. So this is how Bhimsen will speak. One day he was in the kitchen, and Dhṛtarāṣṭra and Gandhari were in the next room. And Bhimsen started speaking. Look at these arms, my arms. From these arms only, I have killed 100 sons of Dhṛtarāṣṭra. And Dhṛtarāṣṭra and Gandhari were listening. He would speak those things. He said, that dusht, that durbuddhi Dhṛtarāṣṭra, that's how he will address him. Because Bhimsen could not forget. He remembers, he said, durbuddhi viduram praha, dyute kim jitam iti utam. He says, when the match of gambling was going on, this durbuddhi Dhṛtarāṣṭra was asking Vidur, dyute kim jitam iti utam. What have we won in the gambling game? Vidur, please tell me. Because he was blind. He could not see. But he was asking those questions. This is written in Mahabharata. Vaishampani is telling Janmeja Maharaj. These were the questions in the assembly. See, Dhṛtarāṣṭra was asking, what have you won? What have you won? So he said, he's not, he's durbuddhi. He would address him like this. And then Vidurji had asked Dhṛtarāṣṭra that, how are you living here? And he said, everything is fine. Yudhishthira takes care of me like his own father. But this Bhim, he's not good. Oh, Bhim mujhe hamesha tir chalata rehta. He will always throw these wang ban at me. He will say all the bad things, all the bad things to me. Yeah? And that's what now Vidurji tells him, that your father, your children, your brother, everyone has gone. And what you are doing, he said, what to speak of that? Andha Purev, you are blind already. Vadhiro, now you can also not hear properly. Pragnāṣṭra, Manda Pragnāṣṭra, your consciousness, your intelligence has also gone down. With age, we can feel. We are not different from this. This all applies to us. Andha Purev, Vadhiro, we have trouble hearing now, right? Sometimes, we have to repeat. Kya kaha? What did you say? Please speak again. We ask each other, right? So he's telling him that you are like this. And then he says, Vishir Danto, all your tooth have fallen. Right? And then he says, all your tooth have fallen. You are blind. You can't hear. Your consciousness, your intelligence has gone down. And then he says that your Saraga Kaf Udvahan. Very good. He says Saraga. Saraga. Raga means sound. So he says, when you cough, you are making such a long sound. You are coughing with such a big sound. Right? And you are staying with the Pandavas. You try to kill them. Right? You try to disrobe their married wife. Right? You usurped their kingdom, their rightful inheritance. How can you stay with them? No, you should leave this place. And when Vidurji spoke these kind of words, and then he finally felt so, like, sometimes we say, I'm so disgusted, and then he makes this statement, Aho mahi yasi jantor jivitasha yatha bhavan bhim apvarjitam pindam adatte grihpalam. He says, see, alas, such is the strong desire to live of a jiva, of a human being, right? He is living like a dog. Bhim apavarjitam pindam. Like remnants of the food prepared by Bhim, it's like feeding to a dog. Like a doorkeeper dog, you are staying here. And this awakened Dhṛtarāṣṭra's consciousness. And then Dhṛtarāṣṭra decided that now I'm going to go. So Vidurji told him, without telling anyone, you should go to Uttarakhand. Uttarakhand is towards the north, toward the Himalayas, right? And Vidurji went with them. Now Vidurji, Dhṛtarāṣṭra and Gandhari also accompanied Dhṛtarāṣṭra. They all three of them They left quietly in the night. They did not tell anyone. Now, next day morning, Yudhishthira Maharaj, he did his pranam and prayers, and then he goes and look for Dhṛtarāṣṭra. He can't find him there. And then Yudhishthira got worried. Yudhishthira went and asked Sanjay. And then Sanjay also, because Sanjay was a very confident servant of Dhṛtarāṣṭra. Sanjay also did not know where Dhṛtarāṣṭra is gone. And Yudhishthira Maharaj saying, my two uncles and my aunt, who was like my mother, where have they gone? And as Yudhishthira Maharaj was lamenting, then Naradji comes there. Naradji comes there, and Naradji now starts preaching Yudhishthira Maharaj, and he tells Yudhishthira Maharaj, he says, Ma Shucho Kanchana Rajan, yeah, Ish Vasham Jagat, Yad Ish Vasham Jagat. Oh Rajan, please don't lament, because this whole universe is under the control of the Supreme Lord. There is no need to lament for it. And he says that Supreme Lord, Sa Samyukta, that Supreme Lord, he arranges, very important statement. He says, whoever meets, right? The meeting is arranged by Supreme Lord. Sa Samyukta Bhutani. Now we all are here. So Prabhuji Mata, this is not a by chance. Let me tell you very clearly. We all have met because of the providence. This is not because you decided. You can experience, if you try to make arrangement for meeting, sometimes the meeting doesn't work because you have a purpose, then that is a business meeting. But here this meeting is arranged by Krishna. That's Naradji's state. We should just believe it without any question. We should just accept it. So he says that Supreme Lord, he is the Supreme Controller. He arranges the meeting, and because of him only, people also depart. They meet and they also disperse because of it. So he said to him, don't worry about it. And then he says, are you worried about how Dhṛtarāṣṭra will survive in the forest? You don't have to worry about it. So he says, this Kal Karma Gunadhino Deho Ayam Panch Bhutika. He says, this body which is made of 5 elements, Agni, Jal, Vayu, Prithvi, Akash. Yeah. He says, this body, this is under the control of, now this is very important for us to remember. Three things that Naradji is saying. Kal is in time, Karma is in our actions, and Guna is in modes. Kal, Karma, Gunadhi. So the way it works is, Prabhuji Mataji, on the top is the Gunas, the modes. Depending on what mode you are, you make an action, karma. Your karma is directed by due to the modes. And then as per the kal, as per time, your karmas will fructify. Right? So kal, karma, gunadhino, deho, ayam, panch, bhautika. Katham anyast gopaye. Kal sarpo, kal sarpa, kal grasto. Kal sarpo yathapar. So he says, you are saying, understand, very important. So he's saying that you are worried about their well-being and you think you can take care of them, but this whole body is under the control of guna, kal, and the karmas. And it is like kal is like a snake, a cobra who is just going to devour us. So every day we are getting closer inside the mouth of the kal, of that kal sarp, of the time, snake of time, right? So here Naradji is saying to us also, and to Yudhishthira Maharaj, that katham gopyet anyastu. How can you protect others when you yourself are in the mouth of that kal sarp? Because you are being devoured by that time, time slowly you are going into the mouth. And then you are thinking of protecting someone else? No, don't worry. And then a question might become, then how do we get out of this? Then Lord Krishna, speaking in the 14th chapter, he talks about the modes of, right? Various modes, gunas. And then 26, remember 14.26. So Lord Krishna tells that, Mamcha yo avyabhicharena bhakti yogena sevate. Yes? Mamchayo avyabhicharena. Whoever serves me, bhakti yoga, in a mood of devotional service, right? If the question is asked, how do we get, because the gunas, Prabhuji Mataji, you cannot control. Let's understand that. You are in the mode of goodness right now. You could be in the mode of passion next month. You could be in the mode of ignorance. That's what happened to Parikshit Maharaj. Parikshit Maharaj, he committed that sin in a moment. The mode changed. Dhruv Maharaj got a direct darshan of Supreme Lord at the age of 5 years. And then Dhruv Maharaj killed so many yakshas. And then Manu Maharaj comes and Manu Maharaj tells him that, my dear son, you got darshan of the Supreme Lord. What you are doing is like an animal thing. Nobody is responsible for anybody's death or killing, because Dhruv was upset because his brother was killed, right, by yakshas. And then they said, no, he is not the reason. It is just the time. And then Dhruv Maharaj realized his mistake. When he realized his mistake, then Kuberji comes. This is in the 4th canto we'll discuss. Then Kuberji comes, who is the master of yakshas. And Kuberji tells Dhruv Maharaj that I'm very happy. I'm very happy with you. Dhruvji has killed so many servants of Kuberji, thousands, lakhs he killed. And now Kuberji says, I'm very happy. Why? Because you listen to the instruction of your grandfather. Dhruvji is son of Uttanpad. Uttanpad is son of Manu Maharaj. So he said, I'm very pleased that you listen to the instruction of your grandfather, and you have stopped this fight. You have taken this animosity out of your mind. So please ask for a boon. And he also prays that, I hear you got darshan of Supreme Lord at a very young age. Please ask for a boon. And then what boon Dhruv Maharaj asked for? Dhruv Maharaj asked for him. He says that, please, I should always just have the remembrance of that Supreme Personality of God. That's all I want. Harau savavare achalitam samritim yaya taratya yatnen durattayantam. Tama is mode of ignorance. So he says, all I ask is that I should always have the remembrance of that Supreme Lord Hari, so that with that remembrance, this mode of ignorance or this nations of world, this law, I can easily cross over just by remembrance. So that is the whole point. So that's what Lord Krishna is saying to Arjun, that yo mam were avavicharena, without any mistake, without any duplicity. Remember that, right? Bhakti yogena sevate. With the mood of devotion, whoever is serving, yeah, sa sam atit etan, that person can cross over, right, all these modes. Etan gunan brahma bhuyaya kalpa. That person can cross over, then the modes will not affect. Even if you try to get, even if somebody, your surroundings pushes you into that, but because you are remembering Lord Supreme Lord, He will protect. If you're just serving the Lord, you will be protected. So that's what Naradji tells Yudhishthira Maharaj, please don't worry. And then he tells him that your uncle and auntie, they have gone to Himalayas. So he tells him, he says, they have gone to Himalayas, don't worry, because it is said Yudhishthira Maharaj was getting ready that I'm going to go and search for him. Naradji tells him, no need to. Well, where they are? He says they are in the Himalayas. They have gone to the north, they are in the Himalayas. And then he says what he is doing there, Dhṛtarāṣṭra, he says, Snatva Anusavanam. He says he is taking bath 3 times a day. He has actually gone to Saptasrot. Saptasrot, that's a long, again, different pastime. But Ganges divided into 7 parts. So he says he has gone there. He has gone there, he's sitting there, and he's performing this asan, and he's taking bath 3 times a day. He's performing yagna ceremony, and he's apabhaksh. He's only drinking water. Apabhaksh, only drinking the water. And he's detached himself from everyone. And jitasano, jitaswasa, he has jitasan. Jitasan means, doesn't mean you are sitting on a nice seat. Jitasan means he is able to sit for a long time. You know, you have controlled yourself. You know how we get uneasy so easily. So jitasana. He has controlled his movement. He has controlled his jitaswasa. He has controlled his breathing also. Yeah. And pratyahrata shad indriya. He has also controlled his 6 senses. 5 senses and 1 is the mind. So he has controlled them also. How he has controlled? Hari Bhavanaya. Very important. By thinking of Supreme Lord, he has controlled that. And by controlling that, what he has done? Hari Bhavanaya Dhvasta Raja. The mode of passion has been defeated. Sattva Tamo Amala. Sattva Tamo Mala. Mala is mal. Mala is in bad thing. So he says he has gotten rid of by Hari Bhavanaya, by controlling his breathing, by controlling his sitting. He is taking bath 3 times a day, and he is also performing yajna ceremony. And in doing that, he has won over mode of passion, mode of goodness, and mode of ignorance. And then on the 5th day from today, Naraji says he will burn his own body through that Yog Agni. If you're thinking of, I have to go and perform his last rites, don't worry. See, everything is being arranged. Kal karma gunadhino deho ayam panchakoti. Remember that. Yeah. So he says, Naraj is saying, from the 5th day from today, he will be able to burn his own body. So there is no need to go and perform his last rites. And what to speak of your auntie, she will also enter into that fire. When she sees the Dhṛtarāṣṭra burning with the hut in that fire, she will also in that fire. And then he will get the Brahman Mukti. So here one last point I will speak and then I'll stop. He will get the Brahman Mukti. He will not get association or the opportunity to serve the Lord. Because this is a Brahman Mukti. He meditated, he focused, but he hasn't developed the love for the Supreme. That loving devotional service he hasn't done. He can get that liberation, right? But that loving devotional service, that's what we aspire. And how can I love? How can I serve? So that's what our Acharyas say. And then like this, Dhṛtarāṣṭra and Gandhari, they leave, and Vidurji from there, Vidurji for a moment, he felt sad for them, but he said he stayed there until they got liberated, and then he went again on his pilgrimage. He never to come back. So like this, Prabhuji Mataji, the lesson from this is, we all have to plan our journey also, right? We all get affected by these moods. And the best way to control is, you cannot sit and control you. We cannot be Jitasan. We cannot be Jitaswasa. Our only savior is this association, right? When we have the right association, we can chant, we can have the remembrance of the Supreme Lord. Now, for example, we are planning our Gaur Purnima celebration next week. For example, now Matajis, they are talking to each other. What are we cooking? They are planning for Chappan Bhogs. There are Prabhujis who are planning, oh, we're going to perform this event like this, Bhoga ceremony. There will be Abhishek ceremony. For Abhishek, we have to get these items. Oh, I have to get the flowers. I have to make the garland. So this is how you purify your consciousness, right? This is what Srila Prabhupada said, loving devotional service unto the Supreme Personality. So I'll stop here. Gone a bit over time, but I will stop. So Prabhuji Mataji, on the Zoom, we thank you very much for your association. If you want to make any comments or any realization,